Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Crazy D's Equipment. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. On the community part of the YouTube page, I asked you guys to leave some questions with me and that we would go through and I would answer the questions to my best ability. Also guys, these are going to be a series of videos I'm going to put out all winter long on Saturday. You know, the weather's cold, we can't go outside and play with our tractors like we want to. And so instead of that, I thought maybe I'd give you guys a little bit more YouTube content to watch. So every Saturday morning, we're going to release a video for you guys to watch. So I think it's going to be kind of fun. So grab yourself a cup of coffee and sit down and let's have a discussion, guys. So guys, we're gonna go down some of these questions that were asked to me. So Stephen had asked me, what can we do with antique tractors that don't have 3-point, and besides just using them to pull trailers. Also, he asked me how to be able to contact me if you want to know something on the lot. So the easiest way to do that is let's split this into two parts. So part two, the second part of his question was how to get a hold of me. Well, the easiest way to get a hold of me, if you want to know what's on the lot, is to go to Facebook, go to Omega Ag Sales, and on there you can either message me directly through that page, through the little personal messenger on there, and I will usually get those quickest, or you can look on there. I believe the contact information directly to me here at the lot is on there for the phone number and that stuff. You guys can either text or message me there. So that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me if you want to know what's for sale on the lot or what we have on the lot, or if you're looking for something in particular, or if you see me something on the video that you want, that one of the videos that you want, maybe you wanted that's for sale, you guys can contact me there and I will do my best to help you. So, but to answer the first part of his question, what to do with antique tractors that don't have 3-point and don't have that kind of stuff, and for more than just pulling a trailer around. And my answer to that question is very easy. There's 3 things that I highly recommend. So first thing is probably the best, if there's some form of hydraulic system on that tractor, or you can put a hydraulic system on that tractor, you can get an aftermarket lift. Aftermarket lifts, they're going to run you somewhere between $300 to $600. They bolt onto the back of your tractor. The cylinder raises and lowers. A hydraulic cylinder raises and lowers the arms for you, and that gives you 3-point, and that makes those tractors so much useful. So I've had a Farmall M, I've had an H with one of those, I've had an 88 Oliver that way. I had a good buddy that had a Massey 44 wide front that had one of those, and it just takes an old tractor to a whole new level and makes it so much more useful. The other thing I'd recommend is you can go out there, you can get some stuff. There are pull type bush hogs and stuff that raise and low with the cylinder. And what I did a long time ago is I used to have one like a Farmall M or something, and you can get the cylinders that it's not really a cylinder, but it's kind of like a ratchet, and you can ratchet it in and out and raise and lower the equipment that way. So you lower the mower, you go to work, you mow, you get done, you can raise it back up that way. You just leave it down. I mean, you can't ratchet it up at the end of each turn, but it works and it does the trick. So, but and then the other thing is, guys, the best thing in the world is find the machinery that goes to these tractors. You got a little John Deere B, I'm sure there's plenty of equipment out there that will still work on a John Deere B. Those tractors were made to farm, and for many years years, they did that. They farmed, and that equipment still exists out there. You can find it and get it fixed up, or a lot of times you can find stuff that's in usable condition, and you go to work and you put that equipment to work. So, and that's the enjoyment of having these older tractors, guys. So, but and then let's move on to the next question then. So the next question is from Old Fashioned Farming, correction. By the way, guys, he has a channel of his own, and I would highly recommend you guys to go out and check out his channel. It's Old Fashioned Farming here on YouTube, and he has some really good videos that you guys might like to watch. I've watched a few of them. I really enjoy a lot of the content he puts out, and he has his own style. So I would recommend you guys to go there and check out those videos. So Old Fashioned Farmer asked me, or Old Fashioned Farming, correction, what was the first tractor you ever owned? And I mean one that you bought on your own, not one from the family farm. Well, the very first tractor I ever personally owned myself, kind of an interesting story, or kind of a fun little story. When I was about 13 years old, I was the kind of kid that flipped through the classifieds, always looking for something. That's back when we had newspapers and classifieds. But I found a Farmall F30 for sale on the other side of Newton, and I knew I wanted that. And I begged my grandpa, I begged my dad, I begged my uncles, I begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded and pleaded and begged to be able to buy that tractor. And I was told no, that it would not work, that I could not do that, that we did not either A, have the money at the time, or B, etc., etc. So I never got, I just didn't think I was ever going to get that tractor. It didn't stop me from keep trying to work out some deal or some scheme or some way that I could afford that tractor. I come up with a billion ideals, but you know how you are at 13, and none of them probably would have actually panned it out, but we tried. But it was really close to Christmas time, and you know, we went through the whole family Christmas thing, and you know, stuff, and presents being opened and all that kind of stuff, and da da da. And towards the end of the evening, my Uncle Mark and my Uncle Craig decided that they needed to get up and go feed pigs. And I thought, well, that's really weird. That is really odd that we don't feed pigs at this time of day. But they still went out, and then you know, they were out for a little while, and I was just being part of Christmas, and I heard the old Farmall H we had fire up, which we didn't use to feed with. The only time we ever used that, I believe, was to grind corn and stuff for the pigs, and I thought that was really odd, and I didn't really think a whole lot of it, but that was odd. And towards the end of the evening, they pulled up into the front yard, pulling a trailer with the old H, and on the back of that thing was that Farmall F30. It was a 1938 Farmall F30. It was the farthest thing in the world from it ever running, and I had that thing for years. No, I never got it to run. I never got it restored or ever. I had it for many years, and for a long time it sat in the back of the farm. And sometime many years ago here, I decided that I needed to move to Arizona. And when I did that, I sold off a whole bunch of my collection of stuff. And that F30 is one of those things I sold, and I have absolutely regretted selling it. But I know the guy in Nebraska that bought it, and I do know it got restored. So a good ending to a good ending to that, you know, because be honest with you, I would have probably never got it going, and eventually I would have probably still sold it, because that's what I do. That's just how I work. So, but anyways, guys, next question. Mr. Parker asked me, what's a good tractor to bush hog 30 acres of pasture? That really comes down to what are you wanting to spend. You know, an 8-in, 9-in, 2-in would do a good job. They can run about a 4-foot bush hog. You're not going to do it fast, and you're not going to want to let it get very tall. but that'll work. Like a 300 utility would be good. Farmall H, Farmall M, Morley and M. You can find yourself a bush hog that doesn't require 3-point and that you can just raise and lower with a hydraulic cylinder or one of those ratchet cylinders. They would be great. But if you want to get into newer or you want to get into bigger tractors, I would highly recommend 830, 730 case tractor would be a good tractor for that. A 530 or 630 case too. 560 Farmall. You know, 55 Oliver would be a good tractor to use there. Also, if you want to spend the money, you know, a 3020 John Deere or a 1010 John Deere would be a great tractor. Now they're going to be more money than everything else because they're green and yellow, and that's just how that works now. But you can definitely use those. Those would do the trick for you. They would get you to what you were needing, get that pasture mode, give you some horsepower sitting around out there on the farm, and I would highly recommend any of those tractors for that purpose. So, Jeff asked me, what is your favorite garden tractor? Well, that's a simple one, Jeff. David Bradley Tri-Trac. That is the holy grail of garden tractors for me. I've been searching for one of those for years. I found one once, and the guy wanted $500 million for it. I swear to God. And I was like, no. I mean, I want one, but I'm not going to sell the farm to buy it. But that's my holy grail. I want a David Bradley Tri-Trac. I've been searching for one forever, and I will continue searching until I have one. But it'll probably be very similar to my Graham Bradley. I searched forever and ever and ever for a Graham Bradley, and I bought a Graham Bradley tractor, and I had it for 2 years, and then I sold it because it was worth more money than it was when I bought it. So that's, again, how I work. Mauricio asked, and I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, gas, diesel, or propane? And you know what? Diesel. Diesel always. Diesel, you're going to get more horsepower, you're going to get more torque, you're going to get more usefulness out of the motor. They run cooler than a gas engine. The fuel is a lot less of a headache to handle than a propane tractor. I don't know why in the United States it took us so long to come around the diesel tractors. It was the late 50s, early 60s before diesel tractors got really, really common. Even though International was the first company to put out a wheeled diesel tractor, I believe it was the W40 was offered in a diesel version. You know, you can find them. Well, I know a few collectors that have them, but in Europe, man, I mean, in Europe in the early 30s, diesel tractors came out, and just everybody had a diesel tractor. Even the American companies that sold tractors in Europe had diesel models because that's what the European farmers, and I just don't understand why it took American farmers so long to come around to diesel tractors. So, but you know, that was diesel. Diesel would be my answer there. So let's go down here a little bit. Luke asked me, Dave, I want to know what my favorite tractor is. Well, that's very easy. 900 case or a 500 diesel. And I mean the early 500s from the 50s, from the late 50s. Those are my two favorite tractors. I have had several 900s. I will have several more. I see one, I can't stop myself. I buy it, and then I have it for 6 months and 2 years, and then I sell it, and then I'm like, oh wait, I need another 900, and I go buy one. But 900 diesel, Case 900 diesel is my absolute favorite tractor. I love those great big plow horses. I don't care what their color is, if they're John Deere or Case or whatever, but those big tractors that were meant for the open prairie, from Kansas and Nebraska and the Dakotas and Canada. I love those big boys, and those are my favorite kind of tractors. And the 900 is my favorite one out of all of them. So, but Outcast Project asked me, how many auctions do you hit a year? And where do you find them? KansasAuction.net or some other way? Well, to be honest with you, normally I probably do 100 auctions a year, depending on how the auctions are coming, because there's not always. It used to be that I would be at an auction every single weekend, and that I would be probably maybe one or two during the week if there was an auction. Yes, KansasAuction.net is how I find them, but also when you spend as much and do as much with auctions as I do, most auctioneers will start sending you an auction bill in the mail, or calling you and letting you know about this auction they got coming up, because they need you there. They need you there as a bidder. They know you either going to be there as a bidder and run the price up, or you're going to be there in a bidder and you're going to buy up the stuff that they probably weren't going to be able to sell anyways. So that's one way. Also, I got on my computer, I have saved several auctioneers. Then I'll just go and check their page all the time. There's a lot of auctioneers that don't advertise on KansasAuction.net. I use Auction Zip. I use Midwest Auction Site. Let's see what else I use. I've used so many of them. Usually, if there's an auction going on in the state of Kansas and the auctioneer has advertised it online, I know about it. And or Oklahoma or Nebraska or Missouri, sometimes Colorado. I have done a few out that way. That's just getting a little far, but I definitely, that's just what I do. And like I said, that's how I find them. So, but anyhow, guys, let's move on down and answer some more questions for you. So, Daniel asked me if there's good money in flipping tractors and stuff, and like I've said before, it depends. It really does. I've known people that got into this business, that get into this, and they purchase a tractor at an auction. They give like $900 for it. They think, hey, I can turn around and I can sell that. They bring it home. They're like, well, maybe I should clean it up a little bit so I can get more out of it. They get done. They dumped another $900 into it, and the tractor's worth $1,500 at full market value. Well, did you make any money there? No, you didn't. Yeah, I know there was money left between what it sold for and what you all had into it, but did you make any money there? No, you did not, because you didn't figure, and now most people don't figure this in. You've got to figure, when I get a tractor that comes in here that goes on the lot, I have to figure in, A, the cost of purchasing the item, of course, right? If it's going to need repairs, I got to figure in the cost of having the doc fix it. I got to pay him. I got to figure the cost of transporting that item from point A to point B, the cost of transporting that item to wherever I need it to be to get it fixed. I needed the cost of advertisement, the cost of time of it sitting on the lot waiting for it to sell, or sitting back there waiting for the doc to fix it. The doc is a damn good mechanic, and I'm really glad with it. I love what the doc can do, but he's not the fastest mechanic in the world, and sometimes projects that should be a couple days may take a couple weeks with him. But that's a good thing, because he usually doesn't miss anything then, because he's gone back and he's double checked himself. It's not rushed out onto the lot, and I really enjoy that about the doc. But and we usually don't have too many things ever come back with, so, and that makes me, and that's the other thing. And the other thing is, you got to figure in to doing this, you're going to have to build a name, and you're going to have to build a reputation. It's not just buying tractors and slapping them on Craigslist and selling them, and then running to the bank and going out drinking that night with the money you made. You've got to know what you're doing and investing this back in to it, but yet still pulling some aside for you, because you should make a little money at this. So is there good money in flipping tractors? It depends if you do it right or not. And the same goes for cars or anything if you're buying and selling. If you do it right, yes, you can make some money. If you don't do it right, you're just going to be chasing yourself, and you're never going to really make any real money at it. Next question, Mr. Miller asked if I would do a review on long tractors, and I will do a review in the future on one. They are a fickle bunch. There's a crazy little story about their manufacturing and stuff that goes along with those tractors, and we will do one in the future. But man, it would be a 30-minute video on to just answer that question, to do a review on them right now for you. But we will definitely do that. Also, we were asked by Jesse about how do you replace the bull gears in a Farmall M or H, and we will get to that. I have a Farmall H, correction, it's an M. I have a Farmall M that needs the rear end totally rebuilt, and the doc is going to have to strip that rear end all the way down to the to an empty case and then reassemble it back out. So we will get to that, and we will definitely do a video on that, and you can see it all in process. And we'll get that just as soon as we can, just as soon as that project comes in and we're ready to go on it. So, but let's see, any other questions here for you that I was going to answer for you guys? You know, the one other thing that I wanted to answer with you guys would be, I get asked, and I didn't get asked on this batch of questions, but I do get asked a lot from people, how did you get into this? How did you get into doing this? How do you start? What gives you the background on this, or where'd your background on this come from? And I tell you what, it goes all the way back to me being a little kid. I bought a lot. I was always buying and selling and trading stuff. It's something I've always done, and I've always dealt in, and I've always had my fingers into the antique tractors or the older tractor markets, and was collecting antique tractors, and every little town had an antique tractor pull or some little antique tractor show or something, and it was the thing. I was really big and really into this, and the one thing that I always made sure I did was I listened to the older generation. You go to those shows and you go to those things and you listen to the old guys talk, and you listen to them. You learn the difference between this Minneapolis Moline U and that Minneapolis Moline U, and what made them different, and what they were like in the field, and how they operated and stuff. And you absorb that knowledge, and you know that you get to know that kind of stuff, and that really helps you out in this business. Also, the way I got started was I went to an auction after a 4-H sale. I sold my pigs. I went to an auction way up north, up in Hayes, with my uncle and my granddad, and we were up there, and they were selling an old tractor, and I thought, that's going really cheap. I would really like to have that. And I went to work and I bidded on it, and I ended up buying it, and then I ended up getting chewed out from my uncle and my granddad, because we were all the way up in Hayes, and we didn't really come up with a trailer. That's a 3-hour drive from where we are outside of Wichita, and so we had to go all the way back up there, and we brought that home. And I think my dad was upset at me, because I think he was expecting me to take that money and to roll it into buying more pigs and doing more livestock thing, and I didn't. I wanted to get into. I did it this way. And I bought that tractor, and I got it home, and I was able to clean it up a little bit, and I was able to resell it for twice what I paid for it, and that was it. That's all it took, man. And I've just been doing this ever since. I used to do swap meets, and used to buy up antique tractors. If they weren't fixable or they were in really bad shape, to keep the junker from scrapping them, I'd buy them up and part them out, and I would go to these swap meets, and at first everyone was like, hey, what are you doing? There's no money there. Why are you dragging this junk? This is just junk. And I was probably about 10 or 15. No, I would be about a freshman in high school. No, I wouldn't have been. I would have probably been like a 6th grader. And I went to the swap meet. We used to have one down at the Coliseum there in Wichita, of the 2-cylinder club. And I went down there with a load of just junk. It really was. It was really just junk, old rusty junk. And I sold everything that I had in a matter of a couple hours. And that's when we still had payphones. Guys, remember payphones? There was a whole long wall at the Coliseum of payphones. And I called collect, got a hold of Grandma, told them to bring me up more stuff. They dragged me up more stuff. I think I sold that in an hour or so. I made a very hefty chunk of change for a child of that age, and I just was hooked, and I have been buying and selling and trading stuff ever since. I always make sure, like I said, that I pay attention to the old guys and I learn everything I could possibly learn from the previous generations, because they know what's going on, and I try to pick up the information and be able to store it. You know, I try to keep this going on. You know, with the next generation, I have my oldest son. You all know him as Junior Mint. Is into doing tractors and stuff too. He kind of likes the garden tractor world a little more than I do, but you know, that's just what we do, and you know, it's just what it is, and I really enjoy it. But also, guys, real quick on a whole nother note, I just want to say I thank you guys for coming in. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy passing this information on to you guys. I'm glad you guys come in every week and watch these videos. Like I said, from now on, for the rest of the winter, we will do a Saturday video for you guys. So and they will be in this kind of style of a question and answer kind of style. We'll probably do some top 10 lists, some stuff like that. Crazy D top 10 this or that. I'm looking forward to doing all that with you guys. But otherwise, you know, if you did enjoy this video and you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've been with the channel for a while now and you haven't hit that bell icon, please hit that bell icon. Please hit like on the video if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, hit like on the video anyways. You know, if you want to know what's on the lot, please go to Omega Ag Sales on Facebook, and you can see everything that we got on the lot. I try to post it there right away. There may be a few things that I don't got posted on there, but so eventually I'll get around to doing that. If you just want to follow Crazy D and what I'm up to with tractors and equipment and stuff, you can go to Facebook also, and you can like Crazy D's Facebook page. We have a whole Facebook page for that. And or if you just want to see pictures of tractors and what I found and what I'm buying or what I'm looking at or what's coming in or what I found back in 20 years ago, there you can go to the Instagram. I have a whole bunch of pictures that I posted here just recently. I went back through the old archives of pictures and I posted all these pictures of tractors that have come through in the past, I think 10 or 15 years. So you guys can go back and see some of the things that have come through the lot over time. But otherwise, guys, again, thank you so very much for liking and for subscribing to the channel. And like I said, we're going to be doing these Saturday videos for a while, so if you guys like them, and maybe we'll continue them on after the winter. If not, maybe we'll just keep on doing something else. But hey, thank you guys so much. I'm going to get back to work. Thank you guys for coming in.